So inconvenient, as always.
Oh, you get that kidney pain.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, here we go. How's everybody doing today?
Good. Yeah, how's everybody's conference? Good?
So far, so good.
So far, so good.
Awesome.
Where's everyone from?
Here.
Texas? Nice.
Here and there, and over yonder.
Around the corner.
That's pretty much all there is.
That covers it.
Pretty much. We're a few hours down the road a little bit.
Okay.
Still Texas, barely.
Like most people from other countries don't realize how big Texas is. You know, I was born in Europe and Austria. Fits into Texas 3 times.
Yeah.
So I have people come over and I'm like, let's go to Austin for the day. They're like, how far is it? 2.5 hours for the day. I'm like, yeah, it's a day trip, man. We go up there, hang out for a couple hours, we drive back. They're like, oh my God, in 2.5 hours we're in another country. We should stay here for 3 or 4 days. I'm like, no, you'll get used to it. You know.
Drive 7.5 hours across the state.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I just did
Done
a
it too many
stint from
times.
Houston to El Paso, so
Yeah.
it's like most of the trip to go to New Mexico is Texas.
That's where I'm
It
originally
really is.
from.
Like, once you hit that border, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
the final push.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Oh,
I drove 5 hours from Lubbock.
oh look at you.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you're probably driving back tonight.
Tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Smart man.
There you go.
From about Fort Worth to, there's nothing. Or nothing to do.
Well, I mean, if you get a couple hours deep into the drive, you start getting the hills.
Oh yeah.
You know, and you actually get the cactus that everybody thinks is here.
That's what's so crazy about driving in New Mexico. It's like I went out there and trusted my GPS, and the GPS gave me directions, and through 70 miles of desert. I'm like, okay, if I get stuck here, run out of gas, I don't know, I'm basically gonna be here. I mean, hopefully I can walk the next 4 or 5 miles so I can get one of those immigration officer trucks to maybe help me out, you know? Because there's
You
nothing.
live there now. If you
Okay,
have
so
gas, just
there's
live
like
there now.
nothing but desert. And then they had suicidal dogs, which was new to me. Like, I literally had a dog run at the car. I'm like, I'm trying to get, you know, I'm trying to not kill the dog. It's like, no, man. You know?
Tires are fun.
I don't want to do this anymore.
Just start the stickers,
Yeah, crazy. But there is something peaceful about the desert, I would say that.
All right, 1 more minute and we will kick things off here. I'm originally from New Mexico.
Oh, are you really?
So
Where?
I hear so often, you know, oh yeah, I've been to New Mexico, I've drove past, I've drove through it.
Oh, yeah. That's what we all do.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Bigger
try
town
to
or
stay.
smaller town?
It's a smaller town outside of Albuquerque, so central New Mexico.
Yeah, I went to Deming.
Okay, yeah, that's south.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because, like, okay, I'm like, I cannot function without caffeine, right? There is no Starbucks in Deming, but they have a huge meth problem. And this is true. Like, hey, I'm starting to understand it now. It's like, I mean, what else are you gonna do? You gotta stay awake, right?
You think
Like,
that's what's happening?
the guy at the Ramada Inn like fell down laughing. I'm like, I understand now why. It's like the closest Starbucks is 20 minutes. You just go down the street.
Yep.
But yeah, it's really funny because it's super small, but like the per capita crime rate is through the roof, right?
It's bad.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
what do y'all do here? I'm like, when does the crime happen? At 8:30? Because by 9 o'clock, this place is dead.
Everything's
Like,
shut
everything
down.
shuts down.
Everything. You
I'm
can't
from
find.
Houston,
Yeah,
you
you
know,
can't
it's
find a
like-
restaurant open.
I know.
Uh,
Especially
it-
even in Albuquerque too.
No, ABQ. We spent 3 hours trying to find a restaurant after 10 p.m.
Yeah.
We ended up at Denny's. Like that was our only option.
Yeah, it's crazy. It was like,
Strange.
but yeah, that was a
IHOP
learning
was closed.
experience.
Yeah.
Well, Walmart's a big thing.
Welcome to the CBD advertising session today. We have Amir from Specker. We have Dominic from Greener SEO, and Max from Dope SEO. And we're going to talk about the current challenge that no one is safe from, and that is the issue of censorship, shadow banning, false claims when it comes to marketing, advertising within this industry. And to kick things off, first let me introduce myself. My name is Kevin Carrillo, based here in Dallas. I have a podcast called Cannabinoid Connects. I've done over 280 episodes, so I'd appreciate it if you guys checked it out. We're everywhere on YouTube and on all your platform stations and stuff. So check it out. But the one thing we'll kick off this conversation is, in December of 2021, Weed Maps was kicked off of Instagram. They're a publicly traded company. So that can just go to show you that no one is safe right now when it comes to this industry and what you should, can, and cannot say in these different channels. So let's first kick it off, and we'll kind of let Amir start this by, what are some of the words, claims, just things that we do know as of now that we should avoid in the marketing and advertising space to avoid being, kicked off or shadow banned?
Hello.
Yeah, is that working? Is
this working?
Yeah.
Is this working? All right, you guys hear me? Okay, I didn't want to. Okay. What's up, y'all? My name is Amir Zendanom. I am the founder and CEO and product formulation scientist of a health optimization company called Specker. I have been dealing with the hell of cannabis and CBD advertising for many years now, and it is not getting any easier over these last few years, even though we thought it was going to get easier, but it is not. To your question, what words can we say, what words can we not say? The government says that we can't say certain words and they'll come after us if we do say certain words. And as a business owner, you have to ask yourself how far on that edge you want to play. And every owner is going to say something different, but for me, I play heavily off the edge. The things that you can't say are claims, health claims, but it's cannabis, it's for your health. You can't use the word cure. You can't say curing disease. If you do that, they're going to come after you. And when I say they, the United States government, the FDA just sent, I think it was 7 letters to different companies that were just making COVID claims about the CBDA that was supposedly treating COVID. While there is a lot of evidence to show that an imbalance and dysregulated endocannabinoid system leads to COVID, and regulating your endocannabinoid system can help fight off COVID. If you say that it cures COVID, you're going to get a letter from the FDA. So maneuvering has been very interesting over these years. Like I said, I'm in this industry because I'm trying to make the world a better place. And sometimes you have to do risky things if you want to make the world a better place. So should you say that it cures disease? Don't advertise it. Does it cure disease? We all know the answer.
Yeah, and we'll turn it over. So just to give everybody some background, so we know that Amir, you're really focused on the organic side of marketing. Dominic, you've got a really strong background on the SEO side, and Max, you're SEO, and you've got marketing in your wheelhouse also. Yep. So I guess along these lines, like, let's talk from an SEO perspective, right? Like, what are some things from your perspective that businesses can avoid when it comes to dealing with issues of the FDA or even social media censorship?
Do you want to take that one?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
I mean, it kind of follows along the lines that we just said, like, don't make any claims. And then there's some things, depending on how much on the edge or not edge you want to be, like, I for the longest thought saying some users reported was okay. Well, it's not. Okay, but are you going to get dinged for it? It just depends on how risk adverse you want to be on it. So from an SEO perspective, where it comes into play is your content, the information that you're creating on your website, and even your metadata, like your title tags and your meta description. You can't, because I could not put it in the article, but I could say cures insomnia, for example, in the title tag. Those are all violations. Even your reviews that you are not putting on, but someone buys your product and says, man, this cured my anxiety. Can't have that on there, technically. They can ding you for anything that is strictly that is related on your website that makes a claim. And of course, we all have our FDA disclaimers, but it doesn't exonerate you.
It means nothing.
It
in
means
reality.
nothing in
Yeah.
reality.
All
yeah.
those FDA things you see
feels
on
good,
websites,
but
yeah.
it doesn't really change anything. So you really have to be careful. And there's certain things I think that are more on the radar than others. You know, like saying, some people reported is probably not gonna throw you on the radar as much as saying, hey, this fixes anxiety, this helps with PTSD. Something like that is gonna be way more, you're taking way more of a risk. So you have to find a creative way to get the message out that kind of says the same thing. I can't say that it cures anxiety, like a sleep disorder, but I can say something like helps solicit sleep, things like that, or rest.
Helps you feel more peaceful.
Yeah, like
at
you
the
have
end
to-
of the day, so that you can relax.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
You know.
You have to really be careful with the wording.
And Max, that's where you come in. I mean, I know you can piggyback and talk more about the SEO component, but especially within advertising,
Oh, boy.
like being creative, right? Because I know in some cases, if you're branded as a cannabis company within, say, Instagram, some of these businesses can't even set up an ad to run, right? Like they're dinged right away. But then there's other larger companies that may have a bigger budget where they have, you know, a relationship with that platform and they're able to run ads. But how can you be creative if you're able to run ads and advertise?
So that's an interesting question. So even budget doesn't really matter. You know, it doesn't matter. Let's just put it this way. When it comes to your brand, when it comes to your marketing for your brand, let's just say hypothetically, you should never name your CBD company Miracle Cure CBD. You know, because that's like, it's in violation. What I'm going to recommend, if you're doing social, you should always have a backup social account for everything. You know, I'm talking about for your retail store, for your, you know, for your social media stuff. If you have a retail store, have a backup, you know, Facebook account, have a backup Instagram account. When it comes to ads, you actually can get away with ads. There are platforms that you can advertise on. Most of them are not going to be social media though. There are third-party platforms that you guys can operate on. There are cannabis-friendly platforms that you can advertise on. But you have to be really, really careful about what you're saying, what you're putting there, the imagery. If it's a video ad, if you can't, like we have, so let's just put it, we operate, we actually have an in-dispensary ad platform that we use, where we can get away with just about anything, because it's in a dispensary, you know, so we can have people smoking, we can have people vaping, we can have people, you know, doing, you can't do that outside of that though. So, I mean, if your ad is somebody lighting up something or firing up something or just blowing smoke out of it, that's gonna get, it goes against. You have to be really careful about what you're posting. The words on your, be safe about it. You know, everybody, let's just put it this way, everybody that's in this industry, everybody that's shopping this industry already knows. You know, it's not like you're going to attract somebody, like it's not a couple years ago where it's like, what is CBD? I don't know. Everybody knows, you know what I mean? Because like there was, what's CBD? Everybody, you know, now it's a couple of years later, everybody's familiar with it. Everybody's familiar with, you know, it's not like you didn't know what cannabis was. If you grew up, I don't know where you guys grew up, but I mean, we all knew what cannabis was, right? But with CBD and stuff, you have to be really careful. People are very familiar with the product already. They're very familiar with the brand. The fact that, let's just put it this way, what I would focus on for somebody that's running a CBD brand, in regards to their marketing, focus on building a brand and a brand following versus just trying to, because they're selling oils now at the gas station, okay? We all know this. Be better, you know, outthink them, you know, out-promote them. Don't make false claims, don't make health claims, don't make miracle cure claims. You know, but you can be educational about that. Educational content versus sales content is different. You know, if you run a social media account, you run something, you know, the best thing you're ever gonna put on your Instagram, on your Facebook is nothing for sale. This is all educational. You know, because you're not selling anything on Facebook, you're not selling anything on Instagram, you're not selling anything on YouTube, you're not selling anything on TikTok. There are no transactions made. So don't put it, we've got a ton of, we're selling all this great weed. Like, no, don't, but I've seen it, you know? Don't do that, avoid that. You know, if anything, be smarter. Like, we have to operate under the radar right now, because until federal goes federal, and then that's gonna be a whole other I mean, that's going to be crazy. But because there are still states, you know, but as I think the majority of the U.S. is pretty open to what we do, you know, but you still have to play under the radar.
Right.
You still have, you know, so be smart about it. We all know you're selling, you know what I mean? Like if you have an Instagram account for your brand, we know you're selling it at your store. Just don't say you're selling it at the store, you know? It's like,
Yeah, and there might be ways even to compartmentalize the content, right? Like it seems like within Instagram, that feed when you post, right? There's a lot of that's where the censorship comes from. I don't know if there's like with Instagram stories, right? A way in which you might be able to put some of the product images within stories and have them run for 24 hours as a tactic or as a strategy instead of putting it on your feed where, you know, and of course not making the claims, not saying that you're selling anything within those channels would probably be a best practice. But I see what you're saying in terms of be smart, right?
be
Like,
smart. Yeah, be smart about it.
You know, I'd like to add one of the ways that I've found a really efficient way to circumvent a lot of the direct claims is what I said earlier is that phytocannabinoids are not curing COVID. We focus on the endocannabinoid system and the education of a dysregulated endocannabinoid system, and that is your body. So a lot of the branding that I do is based off of the education around the endocannabinoid system and how modulating and regulating your endocannabinoid system can cure disease. I'm not saying that CBD cures the disease. I'm saying that modulating your master regulatory system in your body is what is going to cure the disease. What you add on to that is for another conversation. But the modulation of the endocannabinoid system for me has been very successful, and it also helps give the consumers the education that they need to understand why things like CBD are so much more powerful than all these other health optimization supplements that are on the market today.
Because we're at this conference and it's Delta 9, Delta 8 psychedelics, right? Are there differences between marketing CBD products versus THC products? And what are those differences?
Massive.
Yeah.
By the way, for those of you guys that didn't get all those big college words, we are recording these on 2 devices, so if you need those again, contact one of us. There's lots of college, big
Check out my YouTube channel.
Big college words. I'm not transcribing that for you though. But where are you talking about? What's the difference between marketing THC versus CBD?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, so many restrictions. So I work in both spaces, and I can tell you this: like when you're, for one, you're not selling THC products online. You're just driving traffic to a store. You're driving traffic to a retail store. You can't ship out of state federally. Like you go to, you know, I'm saying we are recording.
You can't
this
ship
from-
in state.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah, like you have to come pick up. So, you know, so basically it's all driving traffic to a location.
Sure, we have some time at the end for questions.
Yeah,
I keep seeing people raising their hands.
Yeah, everybody
yeah.
wants to ask questions. So like.
Go ahead, let's pause. We'll
Okay.
take questions. Yeah, go ahead.
So, comment on that, are we talking about like medical marijuana and recreational marijuana cannabis? Because in our industry, like Delta 8 and Delta 9 products.
That's CBD,
can ship.
basically.
Okay.
That's still under.
Yeah, if
that's-
you wanna
yeah.
segment it, like, take everything that is not THC
Or high
or
high
high
percentage
THC, and let's call that CBD. Everything high
Yeah.
THC.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's biosynthesized or from CBD.
Yeah,
I don't
if it's hemp
Yeah.
derived.
I know it gets
you know,
confusing.
Yeah, hemp derived versus like straight cannabis.
Yeah.
There is a difference. So
Yeah.
you got to be careful with that. Yeah, but literally, yeah, like you can't ship cannabis legally.
You had a question earlier, ma'am, but
Yeah.
for who? You remember? I saw your hand go up, that's why I was like,
That's
yeah.
different subject. You were talking about the difference between the THC and the.
Yeah, well, let's finish that
Okay.
thought and then.
Finish and
Yeah.
then-
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, CBD is still, you know, CBD is more accepted. You know, there's more payment processors that are allowing payments. There's more. When it comes to marketing it, though, it's still federally regulated as a, you know, hemp-derived product. You know, it's still under federal law. So even though it's more widely accepted, you still have to be careful about what you're saying, how you're saying it, who you're marketing it to, how you're doing it. You know, I think a lot of it has to do with how you're marketing. This is what I'm saying. Like, be smart. Like, there's a lot of there's a lot of people out there doing a lot of bad marketing. You know, there's a lot of people out there doing a lot of really, really risky marketing that can and eventually will get stuff shut down. I mean, I've seen people get fined. I've seen people lose their websites. I've seen people lose their businesses. And I'm not talking like $1,000 a month. I'm talking like hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars a year in online sales because they're making claims that they shouldn't make. Some of these guys don't care because they've got multiple businesses and they're just like, whatever, if one goes down, we'll just put everything back into this. For most small business owners, that's crippling. You know, that's crippling. So you want to be smart about it. You want just literally, it's build your brand. This is kind of it. You know, when it comes to like, we're all marketing people. It's you can go for the quick buck or you can go for longevity. You know, you can go for the quick sale or you can go for building a brand, building a following, and doing it right. And I think for the industry, I mean, we're all here to help this industry grow. You know, this isn't the get rich quick, you know, Expo. This is the, you know, this is the, like let's do this. What's up?
Whoever's building right here, their camera is wrong.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, did you want to ask your question? Go ahead.
Thanks for the heads up.
Hey, shout out to you, man.
One of the most challenging that I have as a business owner, I can control what I say, but I can't control what my patients or my clients say, because we keep asking for reviews everywhere on the website, on our Yelp, on Google, and I'm also a pharmacist, and
Okay.
we're actually targeting the pain, you know. And when I ask for reviews, they say, oh, she did a great job in pain and just gone. I'm like, okay, what am some of the reviews I'm not even able to delete them because they're Yelp reviews. And on the website, it says verified buyer. You know, it says she did a great job in neuropathy. And how can I deal with this? I mean, this is not something I have control over.
That's the fine line you have to walk.
Yeah.
And you know, you have to look at it as a form of civil disobedience. You're not in a fully legal industry still. So when somebody comes to me and says, like last week, one of my friends hit me up and they said, my friend's mom cured breast cancer. They were using your product. Like,
Don't
I
tell
can't
anybody.
advertise that. Because if you say cure cancer, that's when the government hates when you say cannabinoids cure cancer. Those words right there are gonna get you screwed so hard. I've learned to stay away from those words. But yeah, it's like, wait, it cured cancer? Like, wait, it helped this problem that nothing could help? Then what do I do? What do I say? Like I said, if you want to be in this industry, you gotta act in civil disobedience at times. In 10 years, we'll look back at those things that you said now, and you'll be like, wow, I can't believe we lived in a time like that. But to get to that future time, there has to be people like us who will take that risk. And if we don't take that risk, then we'll never get the industry to the place where we want it to be. So if you hear those claims, I say, I'm just like, yeah, the reviews are the biggest things for my company. When people write all those reviews and people are going and seeing those, I'm not gonna delete any of them. So
Is your platform, what's your website on?
Headpharmacy.com.
Is it a WordPress site or is it?
It's a WordPress.
Okay,
Okay.
so for one, if you wanted to do something, you could probably fix your reviews that come on the website. I agree with what you're saying, but I think
can
if
edit- yeah, you can edit the
edit
reviews,
those,
yeah.
and then if they ever came at you and said, look, I did what I could, okay, which is
Yeah,
control my
yeah,
own property.
yeah.
Hey, if you wanna get this removed from Google and Yelp, be my guest, because I can't get any reviews removed from there, no matter what I do.
Right.
So you can kind of do your part and still have the rest out there because they're beyond your control.
It's not
But
your
that
problem,
one-
Yeah.
That one you could control if you wanted.
Yelp is a
Yeah.
third-party platform though, so you have no control over what anybody says about your business there. I mean, people leave bad reviews or good reviews on businesses all the
Exactly.
time, and Yelp is a nightmare to work with either way. So,
So is Google.
I just
Yeah.
had a question on Yelp from one of my patients, and they're asking, does this specific product help me with my neuropathy? Am I gonna use the tincture and topical at the same time? So they were basically asking for a clinical question that I do respond to the question when they come to the business, to the pharmacy, or they call me, but what am I gonna say
I
on
think
Yelp?
that's should be your answer.
Please contact us.
Right there,
Please,
you gave
please
that.
contact the
Right there.
business and schedule an appointment to
Yeah.
talk to a
Take it
professional.
offline.
Yeah.
Also, one of the things that I do is I'll send them research links from PubMed. So I'm not directly making a claim, but it's like, hey, look at all this research on cannabinoids and neuropathy, read it yourself, and you can make up the decision yourself. So I heavily utilize PubMed research because cannabinoids on PubMed are one of the most researched things on that entire website. There are thousands of hits that you get from typing in CBD or THC. So all you have to do, cannabinoid neuropathy, boom, you'll get 20 different things, read a few of them yourself, and then you get to send them the link. So I heavily utilize the actual research so that I'm not making a claim. I try to keep things as separate from me as possible. So yeah, the thing I think about is if we take this to the logical conclusion, and say you're in a courtroom, right? Are you gonna get in trouble for that claim that the other person made?
Can't control what they're saying.
That's very, that would be very arguable thing in a court for you to get in trouble for somebody else saying that they cured their cancer with your product. So I'm always thinking about the logical conclusion of what a lot of these claims would be, which is, okay, we're in a courtroom, there's a judge there, what's gonna happen? And in that case, I just don't think that there would be that, like, I don't think that you can get in trouble for something like that.
Yeah. We have some more questions over here. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, so, you guys have talked a lot about when marketing, right, how to word it when referencing CBD in terms to like the health benefits of it and things like that. But when we talk about the hemp-derived THC, in your experience, have you done or put together any campaigns that don't necessarily market it in that manner, but more as like an alternative, recreational alternative? What are your thoughts on that?
Then it's gonna be
More
the same as the
lifestyle,
THC
yeah,
regulations.
more lifestyle, then you're falling under THC regulations. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. Like, don't do anything crazy. Just
The thing
there's a
about-
way to do it without doing it. There's a way to show it without showing it. There's a way to write it without writing it, and that's really the best I can say. Don't light up and be like, you can't be Gary Chambers. You know what I mean? Like, don't do this.
The senator, or he's running, right?
Oh yeah. Don't, you can't be Gary Chambers like smoking a blunt in your ad for your product.
Don't advertise it as weed light.
Yeah.
For reference too though, I've made content with myself smoking joints and blunts and explaining that this is hemp flower and you can smoke.
Education.
It's education. So if you're
Yeah.
blazing, also I have videos on my YouTube channel of me taking fat bong rips. So as far as advertising goes, you have to decide who you want to be. A lot of the times when I stopped using the words THC and CBD, I didn't feel like myself. I didn't feel like I was being real. So you really have to ask yourself, how real do I want to be? And if I'm calling something just the lotion without explaining that the CBD is doing wonders as well, then I don't feel like I'm being true to myself. So that's a big question you have to ask yourself. How true do I want to be to myself? Because if I'm not using that word, THC, and we're all just saying Delta 8 because that's still a maneuver around saying Delta 8 THC,
Right.
then I don't feel like I'm being true to myself. So I just advertise it all the way. It makes it harder, but to your point, I'm trying to build a long-term brand. I'm not just trying to pump and dump a 3 to 5 year up and down and then sell the company. So if you're trying to build a brand, then be the truest version of yourself.
Flip side of that though is if anybody saw it, Weed Maps did do a commercial where they have broccoli.
Broccoli,
The
yeah.
broccoli.
Yeah.
If anybody saw that, it's broccoli, and
And
the broccoli says, "We all know what I represent, but for this video, I am broccoli."
And that was genius. That was a
It was.
humorous spin to it.
But they still got rejected. The ads still got rejected. So that's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter how you maneuver. They're still gonna reject
We know
you.
who this
So
broccoli
I've
is.
been
We know what this
rejected-
broccoli represents.
Like I've been rejected so many times for doing these maneuvers of not doing exactly what I'm doing or saying what I'm saying, and it doesn't turn out better. It just turns out like you just succumb to the powers that be, and you're not yourself anymore.
Go ahead.
Hi, so I had just like a couple of comments and some questions. So I know that you said you couldn't use the word cure, but a lot of times in the health industry and the medical industry, we use the word alleviate a better word, because I feel like patients say like help, and if you kind of put some like medical research or like even some type
You
of
can't use that word either.
You can't
Technically, you can't. You can't make, that's a health claim.
That's a health.
Yeah, so
You can't use
technically,
alleviate, just
technically you can't, that's why for me, I think, okay, if I can't even say alleviate,
Right.
you might as well just go all in.
Or,
Like-
or
Or like instead of cure, I'll say it reverses symptoms 100%. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Take it as you will.
And then, so my second part was also, as you mentioned, like, I know we've seen CBD everywhere, you know, from gas stations to like little pop-up shops. I mean, I went to a scrub store and they're selling like CBD, MD.
Yep.
So, from a different standpoint, when I did more of like the med spa stuff, a lot of stuff we do with marketing is like we use the medical grade term and then kind of like try to sell, I guess, some of the key ingredients in those products and kind of upsell. What do you guys see as far as like someone asks what's the difference between getting a CBD that's called CBDMD versus what from gas?
Oh, I want to answer this.
Max, it's all you.
Do you trust the egg salad sandwich at the gas station?
That I don't.
Okay, so
I'm not losing or anything.
no, nobody should trust the egg salad sandwich at the gas station. Unless this is a close restroom by.
Unless it's plugged
You know, so I think with that it's kind of like, listen, like, yeah, you can buy it from the gas station if that's your only option, you know. But realistically, it's like, would you rather eat the eggs? Would you rather go get a real sandwich? Like, do you want, you know? I think it boils down to quality. It boils down to what's going to set your brand apart, you know, because obviously, like, the stuff they're selling at the gas station is the lowest quality you're going to get. Like, it's, what's the difference? I mean, this is where you, once again, goes back into education. What is your process? You know, I've met quite a few people that explain their processes to me. I'm like, wow, and they're like, here, try it. Like, you know, it's really great. You know, versus like low quality CBD oil. So it's, that's where the education comes in. You seem to know what you're talking about here. So I feel like you can be like, this is crap, this is good, and this is why this is better than this, and this is why you shouldn't try this, because this is going to give you bad reaction, or just like no reaction, versus, you know, paying for that.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
One of the things that I also have an online CBD shop, so, and we kind of try to go not so down the recreational road because I don't want to compete with Chevron. You know, everybody's selling that stuff. So one of the things that I try to do is keep my dosages at kind of a medicinal level, even though I don't say it. I don't sell 10 milligram gummies or 25 milligram gummies. Mine start at 50 and go to 100.
Yep.
Okay, because the person that's going to use that is going to get an effect. Of course, quality is important, like who you're dealing with to formulate your product. Good COAs, but COAs are another conundrum because you can go to 3 labs and get totally
Lab
different
shopping,
results.
yeah.
Right? So it's like a lot of it is like, I have an in-house tester to my wife. I give her the stuff. She has a tolerance that's through the roof for everything. So when she says it's good, I know it's gonna be good and you're gonna have an effect because I'm also looking at building my brand and long-term reputation. I don't want to sell you something where you're like, this stuff doesn't work. It doesn't just devalue the industry, it also devalues my brand and you're not a repeat customer.
Detracts, right?
Yeah, we have crazy amounts of repeat customers. Why? Because I make sure that the product that I sell has been tested, it's consistent, and it's of a grade high enough to give you the result that you want. I don't have to claim anything. If you take that thing at night and you go to sleep on my D8 gummy, guess what? It works and you're gonna get more.
That's true.
So that's my answer to that is like, how do I position myself to not have to deal with everybody in the world?
And also, you said medical. You can't use that word.
No.
So, but like, I would want, to me, again, I say, why not? You can't use the word medical because the government has monopolized that word. To me, I think that, okay, the government has monopolized a lot of language. I don't want them to have that monopoly anymore, and if you don't want somebody to have a monopoly, you gotta start competing against them.
Can you use holistic?
Yeah, you can use holistic, yeah. Yeah, like I think, yeah, you can technically use holistic, yeah, but that doesn't, holistic doesn't really mean anything, you know?
And that's why it's kind of a safe word.
Yeah, it's a safe word.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that can be, you know.
Over here, sure.
Hey, Dominic, to follow up on that. So you're saying, okay, I'm coming in with 50 or 100 because that's what works. Are you talking from a health perspective, or are you talking from a recreational perspective?
Both.
Because I mean, look, we have such
Because-
a wide array of recreational people where 5
It's
milligrams
really-
is going to do it, and 100 milligrams.
It
will
really
do for
does
this
it
guy.
for both. I mean, it's like it seems to hit both people the same. A lot of what I look at is quality of product and consistency of product. Because if I start hearing, and we've had this happen, I had to cut the supplier off. They said, hey, I took one gummy, it was great. I took another one, it was shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I heard that twice. I'm like, that's it.
Yeah.
This is over with.
Yeah.
Because they're not consistently producing a quality product, and my name is on it. So I'm the one that looks bad. So, we went back out and reached out to those clients and let them know, hey, look, these guys are gone. I have a new supplier. Here's some free stuff. Give us another chance. But like, that's more, and it's also like, I don't want you to be able to shop me at the Chevron station. So I try to keep it, they don't sell 50 milligrams and 100 milligram products.
No.
Because they're selling I can buy this for $6 and sell it for 20. And that's all they're worried about, is that span. I don't look at it that way, because this is, again, it's a long-term business for us in the long run. So I'm here to stay and to build a good client base that stays with me over time. You can't do that selling cheap stuff.
And
you can make money that way, but it's in and out.
And to your point too, I have my tinctures that I have a 600 milligram and a 5,000 milligram as well, because I totally believe what you believe is that recreational and medicinal dosing, it's not really different. But the problem is, in the industry, a lot of people who don't have the anecdotal evidence, like what you said.
Yeah.
My wife, if she says it's good, I'm gonna do it. That's the same with me. The way I formulate my products and accept them 100%, if it works on me, because I have the highest tolerance out of anybody I know, then it's gonna work for everybody else.
I know my
But
tolerance
that's
is
anecdotal.
low.
That has nothing to do with research. When they look at the research says, oh, there's 10 milligrams, it does this, 20 milligrams, it does. So then they just add that in there, and then people say, it didn't work. I mean, how many people have heard, oh, the CBD product didn't work, that CBD product, I hear from so many people, oh, I don't use CBD, I don't want to use your CBD, it's not gonna work. And then I'm like, listen, take this 5,000 milligram, take 2 droppers, it's 250 milligrams, tell me what you feel.
Yeah.
5 minutes later, they're like, wow, I've never felt CBD, I didn't know CBD could feel like this. So it's a big, this is the kind of like corporate legacy split that's happening.
Yeah.
One side is only using that strict research, and then our side is using the anecdotal research as well as that government research as well.
Well, can you use research-based as
We use anecdotal evidence to start our research process, and then we go and see if the scientific research matches that, or you flip it the other way. I'll start on PubMed, and then I'll go and try something myself, try something with others, see if that recommendation or what they found in that study worked, or if it didn't work, and then kind of go from there.
but actually using those words, research-based. If you look at this is research-based.
That's what I do.
Studies have
I
shown-
always say that. I never say we're saying this.
Right.
The research from PubMed.gov.
Yeah,
according to the government's accredited research, they're saying this.
Yes, sir.
We have one back here.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Who's?
You had a question?
Yeah,
I do have a question.
I missed you. Sorry, sir.
Yeah.
So we are a boutique manufacturer of, coming from the legacy market, we set up a new organization to create 2018 Farm Bill compliant D9 products. And now that we have a legal product, we're looking for ways to do nationwide advertising. I'm familiar with Meta Corporation's policy on CBD or hemp-derived products of any sort. What is the state of play for national advertising for a non-traditional, or we have something that doesn't look like an edible product, it's not a gummy or anything like that, but it does contain D9. You need to know that. So where's a safe place for us to reach a nationwide shipping e-commerce marketplace?
That's a really good question.
Cannabinoid Connect has advertising placements.
No, your best bet is organic traffic.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, SEO is going to be the way to go, because it still falls under. I mean, even though it's Farm Bill, it's within it. On a federal level, it's still a hemp-derived product, and you're gonna. What's your budget? That's the real question, because you're gonna have to test this. For something that like that, I would test, and I would test hard. But once again, I would have 3 or 4 accounts that I'm testing on because.
And you're saying within social media?
I'm talking about social. If you're trying to do ads, I'm talking about if you're trying to do like video marketing, brand awareness, anything. I would, if you've got the budget for it and you're willing to get a couple accounts shut down.
Maybe a new account.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. This is
Yeah.
why, like, have a couple accounts to test on because this is what you're in is a new space. You know, you're talking about a legal D9 product that's below the federal limit. This is a really good question. I'm just putting this as a massive disclaimer. Do not quote me on what I'm saying here. If you're like Max said this, and it like but I'm just saying like be willing to test it.
We very purposely kind of limited our reach through Instagram in the past because we had a product that it only became legal in our state of New York last year.
Right.
But we have nationwide distribution already. We've just been very shy about it. Now that we have something, we're just hoping to be able to last.
What's your budget?
Yeah, that's it.
That's
What's your
very
budget?
determining.
Because
Yeah.
I would, if I were you, I would create 3 separate brands.
But if you don't have, like, if you have my budget, you're not gonna do that.
Right.
So there's
Yeah.
a disparity between how much you want to spend every 30 days.
Yeah,
It's trial and error.
Yeah,
would
it's trial and
literally-
error. So you're
yeah.
so if you want to go down that road, that means you're gonna be losing a lot of money to test.
What is an appropriate budget to look at national?
That's a good. Let's put it this way. I've had clients that literally their marketing budget was $30,000 to $40,000 a month for CBD only, and I'm not even talking cannabis. I'm talking CBD only.
Which isn't even that much
which,
in the whole
which
ad space.
really
That's
isn't.
our current gross sales. So.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Like I would, you got to test. You know, I would literally create 3 separate brands, all selling the same product. I mean, this 3 separate brands, just branded differently. You know, and test it and see which one, and devote like I marketing strategy A, marketing
Right.
strategy B, marketing strategy C. If one goes down, you still got 2.
Yeah.
You know what I
If you
mean?
want to put it in a safe bucket, put it in SEO.
Yeah.
That's a longer road, but it's the safer bucket because Google doesn't care.
Let's talk about that. Yeah, Don.
I don't understand STO.
No, SEO, search engine optimization. Yeah, search engine optimization. It's
Or
basically
your
when,
organic rankings.
Yeah, how you show up on Google, on Bing, on Yahoo, on everything when somebody searches for a specific product.
Dominic, how would you, from an SEO perspective, address that? Like you were just saying.
I mean, basically, I'd have to look at the product and then see who we're up against as far as competition goes.
Yeah.
And then formulate a budget.
We don't really have competition, so
Right.
You have some.
You
because
have-
you got to penetrate somewhere with this D9 product. You're probably competing with D9 gummies. It may not be a gummy, but you're gonna want to rank on similar terms to that.
Right.
Because this is the other thing, right? This is where like you have an even harder road than everyone else because you have to educate people on this brand new product that is.
We're not THC, but we are THC.
That is-
Yeah.
We're
that
not
is-
Delta
yeah.
9, but we are Delta 9.
It's
Yeah.
unknown, right? So if it was a D9 gummy, it'd be simpler because people already look. Those search
Familiar
terms
with
are
that,
coming.
yeah.
They're familiar with it. They're looking for it. I have a D9 product myself, so I'm somewhat familiar with that aspect. But if it's a brand new product, you almost kind of need to see what is it like that currently exists. Set up those keywords and try to rank over there because you're basically going to try to cross-sell those people. They may be looking for a D9 gummy, but I got something better. So you want to rank on the D9 gummy side and switch them over to this better product that you have. Once you have them and the product's truly better, you should be able to retain that client, right? So it's a little bit even more of a challenge than going down something that is known because no one's searching for it.
So with this though, are you able to ship it?
yes.
Okay. Are you getting third party like reviews or anybody else? Have you sent out samples to people to review for you on their like review channels?
Not yet.
I would
Influencer marketing.
influencer marketing. I would say for you, I would do influencer marketing to get the name known, to build the brand. Because if you are able to ship,
Yeah.
And is everybody familiar with influencer marketing? Should we cover that real quick?
you know,
Or-
influencer marketing is a big thing in this space. Like there are, I don't know how many there are, but I mean, you've got it's like, I like to smoke and I like to make videos. So it's pretty much what it is. And they'll do the unboxing, they'll go over your packaging, they'll try the product, they'll do that. By the way, this is a free $25,000 consultation right here that you're getting, because this could blow up your business. No, because for real, like if you do it with influencer marketing, like some of these guys and gals and non-binary people have a massive following that can at least get your brand in front of them, so it brings the brand awareness to your business. And they can, and as a third-party reviewer, that's not your brand, they can talk about, this is D9, that's not D9, that's legal to this, and they can say all that. As long as you're not using that on your own platforms, they're doing it on their own, you should be in the clear for a lot of things. And I mean, hell, let's put it this way, I've had clients before that never did any marketing for themselves, literally drove all of their traffic from influencer marketing, because they're sending out samples, they're sending out stuff for other people to try, other people are trying it and talking about it, but they're going after people with large followings that go, this is awesome. You should try this.
You don't even need to do cannabis. I've utilized influencer marketing to grow most of my company on that side, and you don't have to go for cannabis influencers. Actually, I would not recommend going for cannabis influencers, because most people who are following them, they don't give a shit what they have to say. Go for the athletes, the people that do different cool things that have followings. So I'm an athlete, so I just started sending products to all my athlete friends, and then the ones that liked it came to me, and we started working together. So you have to ask yourself too, like, how much money do I want to put into that? My recommendation is to find, like, we live in a world now where I'm assuming you have some friends who have followings, right? Start there and kind of go from there. That's how I did it, because when you start with influencer marketing without knowing the background one-on-one with influencers and how they're really thinking, you're gonna get screwed as the owner of the company doing the influencer marketing. You're gonna waste thousands of dollars, and then you're gonna look at your analytics and you're gonna see that it doesn't translate at all. So influencer marketing is definitely the way to go. And the thing with, I was selling THC with my last company, and influencer marketing with THC compared to CBD is like night and day. You'll find like 99% of the people that will rep CBD won't rep THC. So that's a very big roadblock that you'll have to deal with. Also, I was gonna add that take your phone, put yourself in front of the camera, and just start making clips. I do that all the time, just quick education. Make a documentary. You can make a documentary on your phone. You can edit your documentary easily. Put it on YouTube.
Make
put it
a
on
story.
different platforms.
Make a story out of it. Yeah,
Shorts.
make a story out of it.
So what I do, like I just released a documentary called From Hemp to CBD. It's a 45-minute documentary, and then I clipped out a bunch of clips, 15, 30-second clips, and I'm just constantly posting those everywhere. And those, it circumvents the regulation. So I'm noticing a lot of the times the algorithms and these robots that are like seeing what's going on, when you're talking in front of your camera about this stuff and just doing it quick, it doesn't get it as easily and fast. So I've had videos on TikTok go viral where I've had millions of views on the TikTok videos. I didn't write CBD, but it was still through my company. So these avenues are still very valuable.
And the one thing I would just add as we close out is consistency. I think in your marketing strategy, like once you've deployed it and you're creating content, you know your niche, you know your messaging, you know what you're producing, just stay consistent with it. I mean, like we talked about earlier, advertising is a challenge right now, paid advertising for cannabis and CBD, so organic is really the way to go, and being consistent with that every day. Have a schedule. When am I posting on this day? What am I posting? And make sure it aligns to your brand. So, last question before we wrap up.
I got two.
Yes.
Generated a second question. First question, and I know the gentleman in the white shirt is taking on this. In terms of your website and utilizing resources like articles that are written on, you were talking about like PubMed research, whatever. Is it okay for us to put links of those articles on our website?
That's what I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm constantly, any claim I make, there's a link right there.
Don't link back to the FDA site.
Yeah,
Don't link back to the FDA site.
it's the researchers. Research says, Not my company says, not me says, research says.
He said, don't link back to
Don't
the
link
FDA
back to the
site,
FDA
'cause You're
site.
putting a target on your website.
Yeah.
If you're linking back to the FDA gets a ping and they'll start looking at your site.
Yeah.
PubMed should be safe.
Yeah, PubMed's safe. FDA is not
Do
safe.
not link back to the
They're
FDA.
looking for us. They're hunting us.
Yeah.
So,
And my next question is, if one of our influencers says, hey, this stuff really helps me sleep, or is that okay if they say it on their own Instagram?
Don't put it on your own website. Let it stay on their own platform.
Keep it on social. I mean, that's where those conversations take place, right? So if they're tagging you and whatnot, it lives there. That's the ecosystem. That's the platform that they're talking
Yeah,
about.
but don't take it and put it on your website.
The question I have is regarding the blogs on the website. So basically, how is it gonna work? Because like I'm looking at our blog, like all educational, but it's all they can be just something that they can get you in trouble too.
but is it linking to selling your product, or is it just talking about the education of CBD?
It's linking everywhere. It should link to we actually at the end of the blog, we have articles, because I work with the students that they make me blogs. But then also it links to the product too, like every time we talk about CBD, like the research shows CBD this, and then we link the CBD to our product.
Okay, this is very important. This is a very, very important note. The United States government has been very clear about this. When they say CBD is approved for this, this, and this, CBD, this, and that, it's not your CBD. It is, they're only talking about the ones, Epidiolex, the ones that have been approved. Like the big corporations, CBD for this one thing.
Macro.
So when you say that research, the CBD research shows this linked to yours, that's not okay, because that's not the research.
That's not the
the
same
research
CBD.
that they used was not with your CBD, it was with the CBD that was government accredited and they got for that study. So using this blanket term of CBD is something that can get us in a lot of trouble, because we say, well, the research says this and I have a CBD product. No, you have to keep those separate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because different grow, different strain, different, yeah.
CBD is possible alternative to prescription drugs.
There's research that says that though. I've read research that says that right there. It is an alternative for
I think
prescription drugs.
we're out of
So-
time, guys. I think the other session's coming in, but if you want to stick around and ask questions, we'll be over here if you want to do that.
Yeah, we're doing a cannabinoid and brain health one next. I'll be speaking
Was it
on
good?
that panel, so join us.
Thank you very much for coming.
There's also
All right.
Max has a booth on the floor.
Yeah, we got a booth, guys.
Speaker's booth over, if you come in through the floor on the left. I'm gonna head over there.